Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Class 8 English Unit 3 Travel in Space. As we have completed exercise A, today we are doing reading comprehension exercise B, which is on page number 49 in your English books. In this exercise, you have to make a timeline of space travel and the International Space Station. Pick and choose from the events listed below. So here are a lot of events, but out of them, some have been selected and listed in your book, and you have to make a timeline and place these events on the timeline according to their time. These events have already been arranged in ascending order. They are already from the earliest to the latest in their sequence, but you have to place this on a timeline. First, we will just take a look at the event and then we will move on to the timeline. For example, in 1870, American writer Edward Everett Hale published a science fiction tale called The Brick Moon in Atlantic Monthly. So he published this fiction story in a magazine about the space. Then after some years, after a lot of years actually, in 1927, Robert Goddard launched the first liquid-fueled rocket. So first rocket was launched in 1927, which was filled with liquid to check the weightlessness into the space. Then after 1 year, Herman Noordung published the first space station blueprint. In 1952, in Collier's magazine articles, Werner von Braun described a wheel-shaped space station reached by reusable winged spacecraft. In 1955, work began on the Baikonur launch site in Central Asia. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin, he was the first human to travel into the space. He was launched in the Vostok 1 capsule, which is a spacecraft. It is the name of the spacecraft which was used to send the first human into the space in 1961. Then in 1969, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to walk on the moon. Then, after 2 years, in 1971, the first space station in history, the Russian Salyut 1, reached orbit atop a Proton rocket. Then in 1973, after 2 years, the US launched the Skylab space station atop a Saturn rocket. In 1985, Japan, Canada, and European Space Agency each signed a bilateral memorandum, means they signed an agreement of understanding with the US for participation in the space station project. Means Japan, Canada, and European Space Agency, they all joined US in its mission. Then in 1992, Russia joined the US and its partners in the International Space Station program. In 1998, the first two elements in the ISS, Zarya and Unity, they were launched from Russia and the US. In 2000, after 2 years, space station solar wings attached and unfolded. Then in 2001, which is the last event listed here, US laboratory Destiny attached and powered up. So these are some events. If you want to go into the details, you can check these events on the internet. You can check more events on the internet. But for now, you're just going to learn how to place events on a timeline. So when we are placing events on a timeline, as you can see, you simply have to draw a horizontal line and you have to make points, you have to make marks on that line to write the years or the dates or any names. And then for each date, for each year, you have to make a box and attach the date with the box with the help of an arrow, and then write the event in the box, but not completely. For example, previously the events were listed in the form of complete sentences, but now the events cannot be listed in the form of complete sentences in the boxes. So you will just write the important words which give us a hint about the event. For example, 1970s science fiction tale The Brick Moon, it was published. So if we just write the name of the fiction or the magazine, it is enough to give an idea. Then in 1927, liquid fueled rocket was launched. 1928, space station blueprint was launched, printed. Then In 1952, article reusable winged spacecraft. In 1955, the work began on what? On the Baikonur launch site in Central Asia, and so on. This is how you have to mention or place or the events on the timeline until in 2001 we have to place the last event, which is the laboratory destiny launched. It was powered up in the US. So this is how you place events on a timeline with the help of using important keywords for the events. Your homework is to make the timeline in your English literature notebook. See you in the next class. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.